Hey everybody, how's everybody doing tonight? Hopefully everybody had a good Monday. Everybody getting back into the weekend and the new work week and just week itself. As always, I like to start off the videos by saying, my prayers are out there for the workforce. The people that are working in hospitals, nurses, doctors, scientists, just anybody that has to kind of be face to face with all this. I know that's not an easy thing to do, but we're all rooting for you and we're all praying for you because it's a scary thought knowing that we don't know what it really is, but we know that you are doing your. We know everybody that's not there. We know that you're doing your guys' best to keep us safe and make sure that we just follow the rules and everybody just does their part and this thing goes smoothly as possible. But to those guys, I do want to wish you guys prayers, and we cannot thank you enough for what you guys do. So for the people that are essential, we're rooting for you guys, and we're hoping you guys come out of this unharmed, and hopefully everything goes well. And then for the people that are quarantined and stuck at home, I hope you guys are taking this time to self-care, kind of rest your mind, rest up your body a bit, because it can get tiring. I can't imagine staying home and being quarantined, but hopefully you guys are doing good and you guys are taking self-care of the mind and the body. And the quicker we do all our part, the quicker this blows over. So as always, wash your hands before and after every meal. If you got a cough, cough on your elbow. If you cough on your hand sanitizer, wash it right away. Whatever it is you got to do, and hopefully this thing boils over. And let's get started. Hopefully this video distracts you, to take your mind off a little bit of the what's going on in the real world, and hopefully this video kind of brings you a peace of mind. So as always, my name is Juan Rodriguez. I go by Junior. This video is coming to you live from YouTube and also our Facebook live page, which is running right now, right? Yeah. Okay. So it is running right now. I don't know why I blanked out right there. Sorry about that. But yeah, this video is coming to you live from YouTube and everything's going good. Today, it's actually a two-parter. Not two-part video, just a two-parter. So in the first half, we're going to talk about the Chicago Bears, because this is originally their pick, but because they did trade Khalil Mack to the Raiders, hence why I'm wearing the Raider hat. Um, we're going to talk about Chicago today because this is their pick, and it's only fair to talk about them and see what went wrong for them from such a promising year the year prior. That they had a promising year the year before that, and such a disappointment this year. We're going to talk about what went wrong, what went right, and we'll go from there. And then the second part, it's going to be the Raiders, but today we actually have a special guest, my big bro, Joan Garcia, who's a big supporter of this page, and I thank him. He's going to be joining today. He couldn't get to us with the 12th pick on last one day due to the fact that he was working and he kind of got out kind of late. But today he has the time to take time to talk about the Raiders today, so we can't wait for that. That'll be in a little bit, but for right now, we're going to talk about the Chicago Bears. So the Chicago Bears, they finished 8-8. After such a promising season last year, people had really high expectations for them, as to the point where they were even considering a Super Bowl. That was the expectation for Chicago because of the team they had and the showing that they had last year, and the previous year before that. They went 12-4. They lost to the Eagles on that field goal heard around the world, the double doink. Um, and everybody knows that famous video now where the bear, he misses the field goal and you just see the bear just, so sad. He just falls over. My girl gets a kick out of that. She thinks that's like the most hilarious thing. And I'm like, it's just, he's just doing his job. But hey, you got to make some people laugh. And, that gets her every time, the little bear just falling. But, so they lost there to Philadelphia, and, they had a great year. The year before that, they were the best defense. They just looked so incredible, especially with the addition of Mac. Chicago's defense was already good before they got Mac, and then when they added Mac, they just solidified that defense way better. So 12-4, season's over. They head into next year, and here we go. They actually opened up against the Packers to open up the 100 season of the NFL on that Thursday night game. And I know people are not going to remember it because it was such a low scoring game. It was 10-3, which usually tends to happen because teams are still trying to figure each other out. They're still trying to get, the steps down, everything. But it was 10-3. Chicago loses, and no big deal. They win the following week, and then they ended up winning three in a row. And then they started to look like the team that had that high expectations of winning the division, winning the conference, playing for a Super Bowl, and then it just fell apart. They got to London, they lost to the Raiders, then they proceeded to lose the following three. Then they won a couple, then they lost one, then they won a couple again, and then they lost, and then they end the season winning. But it was just so inconsistent because one of the main factors I believe was Mitchell Trubisky. He was just so inconsistent throughout the whole year. He didn't look like the man. He didn't look like the player previously, and the offense just took a huge step back. So that was one of the disappointing factors. Another one was injuries to that defense from Danny Trevathan getting hurt, Leonard Floyd not living up to his first round pick of a caliber of a pick that they actually ended up releasing him when the year was over. Um, just everything, Nix, the defensive tackle, he got banged up. So just a lot of bad luck injuries for the, Bears, and it just all just didn't come together this year for him. Like I said, Trubisky took a step back. He got hurt. Chase Daniel had to play. It didn't help. So the offense was just a big issue. So season's over. They go 8-8. Not the year everybody thought that was going to happen, and so forth, so on. They go on to the next year. They lose Vic Fangio to Denver, and now he's the head coach at Denver. And this was his first year, and he had a good year for a rookie head coach. And that was just kind of it. I mean, the Bears overall were just so inconsistently on offense. Defense did their job. I mean, I'm sure there's a couple games where the defense actually scored more points than the offense, but I have to pull that up. But from what I could tell just by looking at the Bears last year, it's just the offense was just so inconsistent. There was no running. It was basically from top to bottom. Offensive line, just porous. Quarterback play, horrendous. No running game. And honestly, the wide receiver group is just one guy above the rest, and that's about it. And tight end, there was, nothing. There was nothing for tight end. So the Bears really just offensively were not well fit to play this year. They were just that bad. So season's over. They finished 8-8, and here comes free agency. Well, the first news they got was Kyle Long retired from the NFL. Their only good offensive lineman on that team, and he ends up retiring. So now they have to build the offense quick because any other team would want a defense like the Bears, but it's going to go to waste if the offense just keeps blowing it, if they can't produce like they did the first year together. So Kyle Long retired. They traded for former Super Bowl MVP Nick Foles, who signed a huge contract the following year to play for Jacksonville. Gardner Minshew takes over now. He gets traded to Chicago, and Matt Nagy already made it clear. It's open competition for that quarterback position. So whether it's Nick Foles or Mitchell Trubisky, it's open competition. May the best man win. And they were active in free agency, but it was more about re-signing. They re-signed Brent Urban, the defensive end. They re-signed their long snapper Patrick Scales, Roy Robertson Harris. He resigned. Isaiah Irving resigned. DeAndre Houston resigned. Tyler Bray resigned, and Danny Trevathan, Deion Bush, they all resigned. However, they didn't they did have a couple good pieces coming in from free agency. One of them was being Robert Quinn, the 30-year-old defensive end who's, still has some juice left in the tank. And I thought that was pretty significant. I thought, if Leonard Floyd couldn't do it, why not bring in a guy who's shown that he can do it? I understand 2015, 2016, he kind of had injury, he that was kind of his injury prone years, but he looks like he's back and he's ready to go. And so to get Robert Quinn from the Cowboys, that was a steal for Chicago. So now Mac and Robert Quinn on both ends, that's going to be good. Artie Burns, a former first rounder, now he comes to Chicago to play the slot. Jimmy Graham, who played for the Packers last year, he's coming for offensive help at tight end. Barkevius Mingo, linebacker. So now you got Barkevius, you got Robert Quinn. You have to make this work. Like, the offense can't ask more. Like, if the defense can hold opponents to 15, 16 points under, the offense has to do their job. And that's what Chicago is. They are a team that can hold points to a minimum, but the offense has to put in their work too. So on the offensive help, they got Jermaine Ifedi, another former first rounder who didn't work out for Seattle, but he could have new life here. He was drafted as a tackle. It didn't work out for him in Seattle. So now I think they will move him to guard, left or right. I think that remains to be seen, but I like him at right. I mean, he's not the fastest dude, but I mean, he's a mauler. And I think that's what Chicago needs at the right guard position, just a mauler. And like I said, they did sign Jimmy Graham and they did re-sign their Allen Robinson back for another year. So with all that being said for Chicago, there's nothing more to it. I mean, Chicago was the team that their big free agent signing was Robert Quinn, and that was going to be it. The rest of these guys are just a 1-year deals, veteran minimum. They work half space, and they decided to make a big splash to get Robert Quinn. They did that in hopes of trying to amp the defense a little bit more, and now it's up to Matt Nagy to get the offense going. It really is, because at this point, we all saw it. It was just bad play all around by the offense. I mean, Jordan Howard got shipped. I mean, that was Tariq Cohen was non-existent. Who, a year ago he was all over the field because he was just utilized as that great of a weapon, but Tariq Cohen was not utilized for whatever reason. And I think that hurt. I think that did hurt Chicago to not involve Cohen as much as they did last year. So hopefully they do, because he's an exciting player to watch. And, we'll see what happens. Chicago really does have to make something happen, or else, all this was for naught. Trading for Khalil Mack for those 2 first rounders was going to be for nothing, because the first year it looked amazing for Chicago. But then now, it was just bad. And like, that pick that Chicago gave up was for Josh Jacobs. It was for nothing now, because now you gave the Raiders a starting running back for the next 10 years. So, I mean, we'll see. I mean, we'll see for Chicago. There's nothing more to explain it than that, other than we don't know what Chicago's going to do. Now, the good news for Chicago is they do have 2 second rounders this year due to the Khalil Mack trade. So, if we don't know what Chicago's thinking, because we don't know who's going to be left available at that time, but if there's an offensive lineman, if there's a wide receiver, if there's a running back that is out there, I say go for it. I mean, there's nothing. Chicago has really nothing to lose, because really there's offensively, it's going to switch. Everybody's going to get switched around. There's going to be a new tight end, possibly a new quarterback, possibly a new running back. Offensive line is going to get switched again. Wide receivers are going to be, new. So, I mean, at this point for Chicago, it really is best player available. And it doesn't even matter. If you want to draft, if there's a good offensive lineman you believe is out there, get him. If you believe that a running back like, let's say, DeAndre Swift or Jonathan Taylor's there in the second round, you take them, because anything helps for Chicago offensively at this point. So, I mean, for all my Bear fans out there, I mean, nothing much more I can tell you other than, it's all about the offense because, yeah, your defense can stop them and, they can hold a team to 16. But what good is that if, you stop them for 16, but, they can't score, 17. Your offense can't score 17. They can only score 7 or 10 or, 3 at some cases, but that remains to be seen. I want to wish Chicago luck, and hopefully they have a good draft, and we'll see how it goes. And as I mentioned earlier, this was the first part of the video where it was Chicago. Nothing much to it other than they just need help on offense. That's the bottom line. They need help on offense, and they can get it from anywhere they can because with those 2 first rounders, or who knows, maybe they'll use those 2s to trade back up into the first. I mean, we'll see. We'll see what Chicago does. But if I'm Chicago, I played smart and keep those 2 and just try to get the best player available. So, as I mentioned earlier, this is a 2-parter. And today, I do have a special guest with me. He is my big bro. He is a hardworking man, a loving man, and a family man. He has 3 kids and he loves his Raiders. He is old enough to remember when the Raiders were in Los Angeles, and now for the second time in his life, he has to see the Raiders move from California to Vegas now. So, I mean, we're going to talk about that, but we'd like to bring him in now, and here he is, Julian Garcia. You there, bro?
I'm here, brother. Can you hear me?
We can hear you. Can you hear him? Can you hear him on your thing? Yeah. All right, brother.
We're good?
Yeah, we're good, bro. We're good. How you doing, man?
I'm doing well, man. Doing well. I'm ready to talk some Raider ball, brother.
All right, all right. Well, first things first, how's the family? How's everything? How was work?
Everybody's good over here, bro. Thank you for asking. We're doing our best, trying to stay safe, and you know what I mean, with everything that's going on right now. I mean, that's all we can really do, brother. Just try to stay safe and keep moving forward.
Yeah, man. Like I said, dude, this is I've never seen anything like this. I know you've never seen anything like this, but we've talked about this before, and I think the quicker we all do our part, dude, I think the quicker this boils over. But it's just really people need to do their part. You know what I mean? But
Definitely, definitely. If I could jump in there really quick, I'd also like to thank you for doing these videos and stuff because I know I'm getting satisfaction out of it. With this thing going on right now, definitely takes our mind off of it. You know what I mean? I'm sure you're using it the same way.
Oh yeah, I gotta take my mind off of it, man, because yeah, the military, that's a different thing, but this is something like we've never seen, and like I can't explain it, dude. Like this is totally different, you know what I mean? But I use this as like my getaway to kind of get away from reality a bit. I mean, I would I would love it to see like an NBA game, or hell, I was a little upset on Saturday because that was going to be the day I was going to try, I was going to go to the Angel game because it was home opener and it was canceled, and that kind of like, set in reality for me, like, man, like this sucks, dude. Like, we can't enjoy, like we have our lives, but we can't enjoy them like we used to.
Yeah, exactly, man. There's a lot of people canceling things and important things. I mean, just to give you an example, mom is having her anniversary. I think this Saturday. I think I want to say maybe 20th or 30th. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But it's the anniversary, and all they're doing is staying home and doing like kind
Yeah.
of or something.
I mean, and that's a shame, really, because it's like this was supposed to be the plan was we were all gonna go to Vegas to do the draft and to do the anniversary for mom and dad, and now it's canceled. I mean, there's nothing more to it than that.
Exactly, man. That would have been sweet to wear those tuxedo shirts, man.
Oh yeah, I was already, I had them pressed, ready to go.
Yeah.
But I thank you for joining me. So you ready to talk a little Raider ball?
Oh man, I'm super ready, brother. Let's hit it.
So I think the first things first is I mentioned earlier. I mean, you're old enough to remember the Los Angeles Raiders. Like there's people that wear the Los Angeles Raider gear, but they weren't there. You were. So can you give the people at home watching this video right now an example of what it was when the Raiders were in LA?
Yeah, I could only speak very briefly about that, only because I was like 4 or 5 years old. If I could have a couple minutes,
Yeah.
I would go with my dad used to work at the Coliseum, and he used to. That's how I became a Raider fan. So he used to bring me like the programs, and I remember back in those days they used to give like little cassette tapes, things like that. And in actuality, that's how I became a Raider fan. He would bring me those stuff. I remember seeing the program with the helmet and the 3 trophies. And also, I said the story before, the names that they had on those teams. Like, I remember James Jett being a wide receiver, and of course, Jimmy Brown. I don't remember the Bo Jackson or Marcus Allen. I was still really young. But like I said, just the commitment to excellence and the mystique. People talk about the Raiders mystique. Definitely I felt that at 5 years old, man. That's no question.
Yeah, because see, like the thing is, I tell people all the time, like I wasn't old enough to remember the Los Angeles Raiders. I have gear that says the Los Angeles Raiders, but I always joke about myself, like, yeah, I'm second generation Oakland Raider. I don't remember the Los Angeles Raiders.
Yeah, definitely, man. Like I said, it was awesome to have them in LA. But then again, I'm more, like I said, I think I could speak more of being an Oakland Raider fan also, just because like me and you, we went to so many games, and like you mentioned before, I think I heard you talk about like, man, if you never made it to the Oakland Coliseum, gosh, you missed it. And it's true, man. It was a dump, but God, I mean, the times, the memories, bro. Oh my God, we could go on and on and on.
I mean, we have about what? We have about what, like 10 years worth of memories just at Oakland Raider games itself.
Yeah, man. Yeah, and I'll even say it on this live right here, which is a little embarrassing, but I didn't want to go to the last game because I knew I'd be like super sentimental.
I mean, don't feel bad either, dude. I'm not gonna lie to you. I was there with my girl. We were both there, and I'm not gonna lie, dude. I think we were like one of the last few people to actually leave the gates because one, I was crying. Like I'm just gonna admit it, to the whole world right now. I was crying because it was over, because like you don't think about like all the games you've been to until you realize like, oh man, there's no more games to be played here. Like that's it. And yeah. I mean, we can go back. I mean, we have stories, and there's gonna be times, if you guys ever want to hear stories about our trips up there. I mean, me and my bro, we have so many, from the coldest beer in town to having Denny's for like 3 nights in a row. Like,
yeah, great memories, man. And yeah, I wouldn't trade them in for anything. Sure.
But I want to get your opinion now because, we were season ticket holders to Oakland. Like we were season ticket holders to go to the Raider games in Oakland. Obviously, we couldn't make them to all, but we try to go to as many as we could. But, what was your reaction when you heard Las Vegas? It's a go. They're moving to Vegas. I mean, because I remember where I was at. I was actually still working at the warehouse in Chino. And I got a text, or I got like a little notification on my phone saying the Raiders are moving to Vegas, and I just didn't believe it. So I kind of had to hide in between like aisles to like make sure it was true. And sure enough, it's like, yeah, they voted and it's approved. And where you at in all this? How did you feel about, like, how do you feel about the move? Like, are you okay with it? Are you like, what's your reaction to it?
When it comes down to it, man, it's kind of a mixed emotion. It's kind of like going back to it, Oakland Raiders. I mean, God, there was just so many memories, so much history there. I would have loved for them to stay, but then again, it's a saying by Al Davis, and I don't mean to throw so many quotes out there today, but the greatness in the Raiders lies in its future, man. That's the fire that burns the brightest. And, you know, it was Al Davis's dream, dude, to be able to have a stadium. God, if he was still alive and he could see what the Death Star, I guess that's what we're calling it, right? The Death Star.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, I'm still trying to figure out. I mean, I'm just gonna call it the Owl because I mean it's the Allegiant Stadium, but I'm just gonna
Oh,
call it
that's a
the
nice
Owl.
one. The L, yeah,
Yeah, you
yeah, the
know.
L, and well, yeah, well, the Death Star. I mean, it's such an amazing stadium. I haven't been there personally yet. Of course, I will be there, but just seeing it and all that was a dream, man. And I'm sure a lot of people, even Oakland Raider fans that hate the idea, one day when they go, they're just gonna be like, wow, you know what I mean? It's just like, what a difference, you know?
Because for me, my reaction to it was, I wish they could have built something in Oakland. It wasn't gonna happen, whether it was due to the politicians fighting or Mark Davis's, antics. We don't know the whole story because the thing is, I can't put a point to it because we don't know what happened behind those closed doors. We don't know who's telling the truth, and we don't know who's telling the lie. So for me personally, I wish they would have stayed in Oakland. However, this stadium to me is not really meant for the people in Vegas. Like, yeah, I'm sure there's people in Vegas that are Raider fans, but I think to me, it's more of a stadium to the people in Oakland. Like, I understand they're not the Oakland Raiders, but this is your guys' stadium. For all the years that you put your hard work into it, your hard-earned money into season tickets, tailgating, and for the people that don't know, that's expensive, man. Tailgating, season tickets, it it's hard, dude, to invest in something when your team's always going 3-13, 4-12, 5-11. But we did that. And I think this stadium is more to the people that live in Oakland. And I know it's going to take time for them to come around, but I believe what you say. Eventually, when they do get here, they're going to enjoy the stadium more than anybody because they deserve that stadium. I wish it was in Oakland, but Vegas is it's a nice city as well. So, I mean, that's my take on it.
Exactly, man. And back to your point, what you were talking about is the expenses. I mean, for real fans, man, when it comes to money and that sport that you love, I mean, gosh, I mean, how much? I mean, I could look in my closet and I got, a couple jerseys. I saw one earlier. It's funny because, I was coming on the show today. I wanted to throw a jersey on. I saw one that cost me like almost close to like $400. I mean, that's fucking a lot of money, man. You
Oh,
know what I
yeah.
mean?
Oh yeah, I mean, I think the most expensive jersey I have is the Tim Brown, the 75th anniversary one. The silver one, the white jersey. That's my expensive one, and that was actually a gift. But um, it's just it's true what they say. Like it is expensive because not just on jerseys and merchandise. We're talking about tickets and what me and you try to do is always try to go to an away game. That gets expensive. And just to literally go to another state to watch a game for 3 hours and then come back home. Like people call that crazy, but the thing is that like if you love doing this, there's really no price. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. You're just invested all the way through. Like, there's just, you can't put a price on that type of stuff, man. You
Oh
just
no.
go and, you go out, have a good time, and, it's memories that you're building.
Oh yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, the tailgating in Oakland, I'm gonna miss it for everything. I'm gonna miss everything about that place. But I'm ready for the new adventure in Vegas. That's what I'm most excited about. Let's see how this goes.
Yeah. Yeah. All of us are, man.
Yeah. So now to get to the next point, we have to talk a little bit about John Gruden's return. Chucky's back. Well, his first year, Chucky came back and it was a stinker. 4-12. He traded nearly everybody from that 2016 team. Everybody was gone. And he fired Reggie McKenzie, and here we go, another rebuild. But now at least we know who the head coach is. And then January, I think it was the 10th. I think it was like on a Monday or something like that. They hired Mike Mayock to be the new general manager. I was kind of shocked because I only knew Mike Mayock as the TV dude, the guy who does the mock drafts, kind of what I'm doing. But I never envisioned him being a general manager. what was your first reaction to that? Because mine was like, I did not see this coming.
Yeah, you with Mike Mayock, correct?
Yeah, Mike Mayock. Yeah.
Yeah, with Mike Mayock, man, I'm kind of like with you. I seen him a lot on TV. Obviously, we do this whole drafting, so we know of him pretty well. And I kind of think a lot of people, especially like Raider haters, kind of came out and kind of made a joke of it, like, oh, you guys can't find somebody. You had to go and get a TV personality, kind of like with Gruden, also. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But,
Yeah, we had
honestly. Kind of going back to your thing, the proof is in the pudding, man. Look at that first draft class. He came out and, I mean, wowed people, at fourth, fifth rounders. You got a fourth rounder that almost won Defensive Rookie of the Year. I mean,
in any other draft, that's a steal. I mean, now the only thing for me, it's like I just I didn't know what to expect. I mean, I think we've talked about it. Like his picks were good. Now look, having 2020, but the only thing, and I'm sure that majority of Raider fans can like say this is true, for being his first year, he did kind of get bullied a little bit by doing a couple trade backs where we thought we were going to get more picks, but instead it was just a flop and a future pick or something like that. I think that was my only one negative about it, is that he got bullied. But I'm expecting, like every rookie general manager, they get bullied too. It's just him. It kind of looked like, oh man, they slaughtered him. They took him to the dog shit and they slaughtered him, and it was bad. It was bad.
Yeah, they did, man. If I could jump in there for a second, I think it comes from growing pains, man. You know what I mean? It's his first gig. He came out and said it himself. He's like, hey, you know what? I'm used to just being on the TV, picking players, or for 32 teams. Now I'm doing it with just one now, and it's he's got skin in the game now, bro. If you know that saying.
Oh yeah.
That he's going to be held accountable. So it's a big change, and now it's it's the real thing. So it's going to come with the life lessons. It's his first year. We'll see where it goes from there.
Oh yeah, and then I think the only thing and I applaud Mayock for doing this, for sticking his guns basically to Antonio Brown. I mean, he brought him in, when nobody else wanted him, and he said, we'll take the chance on him. And he stuck it to his guns. Like, look, you either want to be a part of this or not. And whatever happened behind closed doors, whether it was AB saying that word I can't say, or else I get banned, or whatever happened behind closed doors, I don't know the full extent. All I know is hearing from others, Mike Mayock stood his ground. He kind of told AB off, saying, you want to be part of this or not? If not, let me know, and we'll find a way to make things work. And I applaud him for that. That just showed me that Mayock and Gruden have this under control now. Like, they're going to hold players accountable, which is something me and you have been watching this team for a long time. It always seemed whether the general manager held them accountable or nobody held them accountable. And I mean, we can go back to many years, how many first round busts we have. It just seems like it feels different now, knowing that Gruden and Mayock are on the same page and they know what they want out of their players.
Definitely. Gruden and Mayock, dude, rather what people say, I think that they both have the same goal in mind. They want to win, but they want to do it the right way. You know what I mean? They want to be what's the word? They want to be strict, and they want to do it the right way. They want kids that want to come in and play ball.
Oh, well, I mean, with the first draft class that he had, I mean, that's all the kids did. From Pharrell all the way to Hunter Renfrow, they just want a ball. That's all they want to do. I mean, that's what I got out of it. I mean, from Clelin Ferrell, Josh Jacobs, Jonathan Abram, Mullen, Max Crosby, Isaiah Johnson, Foster Moreau, Hunter Renfrow. I mean, in some ways, they all contributed to this team, which is, something we've never seen. Like, I've been asked this, is this the best draft class I've ever seen from the Raiders? Without hesitation, I can say yes, because other drafts, it's like, yeah, you might have one or two, but overall, this was like, as a group, this was the best class. I don't know about you, but to me, this was the best class I've ever seen.
Definitely. I think the only one that could even come close to it, like even sniff it, would be the Khalil Mack, Carr, Gabe Jackson, Jelly.
Yeah.
That was the only one that was pretty close, I'd say.
And when we mean by close, we're like that's the only one where it's like at least those guys had success. You look at our other draft class, some guys are not even in the league anymore, and that was
Oh,
after
for sure.
that was like
For sure.
after like 3-4 years, and then they were gone. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you know what? I have a question for you.
What's
How
that?
about how about Chucky, man? Because we're talking a lot about Mayock, but Gruden, it's gonna be his third year, man. It's time. What do you think?
With Gruden, for me, it really is. He's really starting to put it all together. I think he finally put the stamp on these are the players I want because I know these are the players that are going to work with my system offense. Like, this is what's going to work. And, some people might not agree, some people might disagree, but I think me and you, we've talked about this before too. When it was Jack Del Rio, and let's say if he did do that trade with KO, which was last year, and Jack Del Rio traded him, we want answers, right? We want to know why did you trade KO? With
Right.
Chucky, it's kind of like, oh, he traded Osemele. We're gonna miss him, but all right. I mean, it's your call, Chuck.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
mean,
there's confidence there. There's definitely confidence in the coach. I think one thing, and I think you said this before too. I really didn't realize it, but the more and more that I see Chucky coming in, I kind of felt like when he was younger, he was a lot more strict, a lot more. I don't want to say he's lost passion, but I definitely want to see. I definitely want to see him start ripping some players apart. You know what I mean?
well, he did. I mean, he did. I mean, he traded for a wide receiver and that Trevor Davis dude, and then like 3 weeks later, he cut him. You know what I mean? Like that.
Yeah.
I think the Chucky's there. He's in there. It's just what I think it is now. I think he understands now that it's a patient game for him now because remember him coming in, he knew he wasn't going to win with that squad like that. Those were not his guys, and I try to tell people that like these are not Chucky's guys. These are not. I mean, not to make fun of him. These aren't his Gruden grinders. He wants Gruden grinders. This is not the team he wants. When he inherited that team in 2018, those weren't his guys. Whatever people say, it's like, yeah, Donald Penn's a good left tackle, Osemele's there, Hudson's there, Gabe's there, and then whoever was the right tackle at that time. It would have been Austin Howard or David Sharp, whatever, whoever it was. But then you look around the whole room, it's like Cooper, not his dude. Crabtree, not his dude. Jared Cook, not his dude. The thing is, he knows who he wants, and he brings them in. And the draft that what I like to tell people is it's going to take time, but when he gets his players in and they're all in together as a unit, it's going to be fine. Offensively, it's going to be fine.
Right. I think not so much that they weren't his dudes. I really think it comes down to the kid showing he's passionate about the game and he wants to be there and he wants to turn this thing around. Like, I'll give you an example. You just said Amari Cooper. Amari Cooper's a good player. You know what I mean? Yes, he has drops, things like that. But you cannot say that the kid's not a baller. I mean, he can ball.
Oh, yeah.
The thing, dude, is that, you know what? He wanted to change the scenery. And, somebody offered, obviously the Cowboys offered a first-round draft pick for him. So, hell yeah, we took it.
How much did that hurt for you to say right there? The Cowboys. How much did that hurt you right there?
I'm not a Cowboy hater. But yeah, it's the type of player that he's looking for. You know what I mean? He wants, like you say, Gruden grinders, but he wants passionate players. He wants players that are going to go out there, put their ass on the line, and get this team steered in the right direction, bro, for sure.
And you know what? Like, I think we did talk about it. Like the first year team that Chucky had, and this year's team, you kind of see the improvement. Yeah, free agency might have helped. But what might have helped even better was that draft class, because we always say it. You can have an amazing free agency class, but if your draft class stinks up the joint, then that free agency was like not even worth it because you got nowhere.
Exactly, man. Yeah, that draft class. Wow, you putting it in that in that perspective, yeah, big time, dude. Could you imagine not having that draft class? Wow. And we still went 7-9. You know what I mean? Yeah. Wow.
I mean, but so they finished 7-9, like you said. We were in the hunt. You know, we were there. It's just things didn't go our way, and that happens. You know, that's football. Sometimes you know that happens. So 7-9, season's over. Here comes free agency. What did you think about this free agency class? Because from the day one when the season was over, Mike Mayock said, I think he said it the best. I have to improve this defense. I really do. Defense is a big need. Well, he was not kidding. He was not kidding. Carl Nassib, Jeb Heath, Malik Collins, Corey Littleton, Nick Kosowski, you know, Daniel Ross. I mean, I think anybody that played defense, I think they were going to be a Raider at that point. Like, if you play defense, you're a freaking Raider. But we need
and
you
if
back.
you played for the Cowboys.
Well, I mean, Jeff Heath and Malik Collins are former Cowboys, man. Come on. Cut them some slack here.
There was a couple of them, no? There was a couple more. I think it was 4 in total.
I think it was Jason Wynn and Daniel Ross. Yeah, Daniel Ross, yeah.
There you go. So four former Cowboys. But yeah, man, I mean, you know, defense, you know, how many years have we talked about this? It's like Raiders just need a defense, man. I mean, the offense you could tell it's gelling, it's getting better. But man, we just we need a scary defense for sure.
I mean, I think it was one point in the season I looked at you and you know, I think people were cheering because we scored a touchdown. Like, what's good at scoring a touch? Like, what's good scoring 27 when our defense gives up 28? Like, you know, 20, you know, 27 points should be good enough for you to like win a game. You know, defense, you like step in there, please. Like, do your thing, man.
Yeah. But especially if it's going to be a younger defense too, with all the draft picks and everything. But hopefully we could steer it in the right direction, bro.
Oh yeah, and then like I said, offensively, you know, they did, you know, they kind of did their thing. Nelson Agholor coming in from Philadelphia. Now, Nelson was kind of a weird thing for Philly because he would have one good year and then he would have a terrible year. Then the year they won the Super Bowl, he was like almost the number one wide receiver and on their team. And then it fell apart for him. And I keep telling people this, like people are freaking out, like, oh no, like he's going to be the number one. I kind of see him more as a kick returner. That kind of signaled me that they're not bringing Dwayne Harris back. I think they're going to go with the younger vet at Nelson Agholor as a kicking and returning punts and everything, you know?
Right. No, definitely. Nelson Agholor, man, honestly, a lot of hype coming out of college, if I remember correctly.
Because he was what
was that?
Yeah, because he was a freaking Trojan, and every Trojan gets overhyped for nothing. But anyway.
Oh God, here we go.
What?
Going back to it, yeah, like I said, coming out of college, came out with a lot of hype, good hands, fast, agility, good hits, everything, you know. But you know, I don't know. I think at the end of the day, dude, you know, over there in Philly, it just, you know, sometimes we've said it before, dude. It's just sometimes it's not a right fit, you know.
Like, hey, when it's there, it's there. When it's not, it's not. And they also went Nick O'Leary, Jason Witten, you know, the legendary tight end for Dallas. They had Eli Apple. Like when I made that video, the first video about the Raiders, Eli Apple was on the team. But recently now, he's not on the team because now they signed the safety Demarius Randall. I guess what it was, the physical fell through and they backed out of the deal, which, you know, it was going to happen anyway. But I don't know what that was all about. But, you know, I hope Eli's okay. It's just I was thinking okay with Eli as the number 2, but now we just have to see. Now, here was the biggest. I mean, to me, this was the biggest acquisition. And it's going to be weird when I tell you this because we've had so many discussions about this, but we have to do it because the people demand it.
Go ahead.
Marcus Mariota is now a Las Vegas Raider. He is the backup to Derek Carr. Mm-hmm. There's no simple way to ask you this than this, man. Is this it for Carr? Is this it?
Okay, so anybody that knows me knows I'm if I could go out and say it, I'm a Derek Carr supporter. I am. I support the kid. You know what I mean? I would like to see him succeed and everything, but at the end of the day, I told you plenty of times I'm a Raiders fan, not a Derek Carr fan. You know, there's not one person over the team, dude.
And and that's what I tell people too. Like when I do talk to people like on Twitter, on Facebook, and all this stuff, I always make the joke like I didn't know it was Derek Carr and the Las Vegas Raiders. I thought it was just the Las Vegas Raiders, But
Yeah.
so for me, I mean, what do you think happens? Like to put in perspective, how many games is it going to take until if he messes up, how many games do you give him until Marcus comes in? Because we don't know if he's going to mess up. He might finally catch fire and he might look like the quarterback we all thought he was going to be. But if he continues to do his thing, what he usually does, how many games do you think it takes until they say we've seen enough, Marcus, get in there?
Well, dude, with the contract that they gave Marcus Mariota, if I'm correct, I want to say 17 mil for 2 years.
Something like that, yeah. It was almost like a 9 million per year type of deal.
Right. So I mean, the blood is in the water, dude. Derek Carr is going to be on a short leash. There's no way around it, dude. If you want a straight up answer, I would say 4 games. I would say 4 games, and let's see what he could do with the offense. I personally don't think, unless I'm dead wrong, that Mariota comes in and saves the season and takes it to the playoffs. I just don't see that happening. You know what I mean? I would wish that would happen, but reality's got to sink in at some point, dude. That Carr is a decent quarterback. He needs weapons. I don't know what it is with them. A lot of people said after the broken leg he changed, and I see that, but I don't know, man. He's got the arm, he's got the smarts, he's got the will. There's just one thing missing, dude. I can tell you. I could probably say maybe it's him just not running. I know that that's a big deal for a lot of people. I wish he would touch the rock every now and again when the the play's breaking up, and at least gain a couple yards instead of just getting sacked in the backfield.
Well, for me,
Carla hates that.
Like for me, what scares me him running is him losing the ball, because I was there live when they played the Cowboys and he fumbled that game in the end zone. I was there live and I couldn't believe it. And I said, well, this is going to be a learning lesson for him, and hopefully he never does it again. 3 years later, we play the Packers and he does the same thing again. Like, and I don't mean to sound like rude or anything. It's just, I've never seen a quarterback like him, dude, like have so many mishaps in his career. The fumbles in the end zone. Remember that Carolina game we were watching, and he snapped the ball and he accidentally jammed his finger as the center was snapping the ball?
Yeah.
Who does that? Like, how many quarterbacks have ever snapped their own finger, like taking a snap from their center?
If I remember correctly, I think he came out of the locker room and won us that game, though, bro.
He did. Let's face facts. He came in because Carolina was smelling blood in the water at that point. And Carolina at that time, with that defense, was smelling blood in the water. They were sharks, and we were dying.
Yeah.
But he came out and he finished the game. It just looked funky because he had that like little strap thing on his finger, and it looked weird when he threw, and I don't know. It just looked weird, but I don't know. I think Carr just, like, me personally, I think he just has bad luck, man. Like, he can never do anything right. He can, like, this is the thing I'm hearing from other fans. No matter what he does, he can't do right. I hear from both sides, well, at one point, people said, well, he needs an offensive line. Okay, well, he's got an offensive line. Well, now he needs a running game. Okay, well, now he's got a running back in Josh Jacobs. Well, no. Now he needs a number 1 wide receiver. Okay, I'll give you that. He's never had a true number 1 wide receiver. He's had good tight ends, and Jared Cook and Darren Waller, but he's never had that true number one. Let's just go to the facts. If the Raiders are on the clock and there's a number one out there and they take them and you can't do anything at this point, that should be it, right? Like, no more excuses. It's just time to go.
Yeah, definitely. Like I said, dude, it's a short leash, and then getting Mariota at that price, I mean, like, it's easy, dude. The blood's in the water. That's it. They're giving them, a strict warning right there. Like, hey, dude, we got another guy in the wings or whatever. We're gonna check him out, see what he's got, but you're the starter, so don't mess it up. Easy as that, dude. I say 4 games, 5 at the max.
Because, my thing with the Marcus Mariota thing was, there's a reason he went number 2 overall. He doesn't like, how can I say it? He does not have talent because there's a reason he went number 2. It's because he does have talent. What I think was his time in Tennessee was up. And just to be fair, he had a good run at Tennessee. He actually took them to a couple playoff games. And by the way, he's done something twice in his career that Derek Carr has never done. He's actually won in Kansas City.
Right.
I say whatever the situation is, I don't care if we're 8-0, 6-0, 5-1, 5-2. That first game at Kansas City, no matter the week, we put Marcus Mariota in because I know Derek Carr's not going to win in Kansas City, but I'll put in Marcus and I'll take my faith with him. I don't give a crap if we are 6-2 or whatever. Just put Marcus in and let's see what we got.
Yeah, definitely, man. We got to get over that hump. I mean, then again, just speaking about it, like, honestly, Kansas City is the Super Bowl champion, dude.
Oh yeah, no.
So they're going to be tough as hell. The best thing we can do, man, is just put the best team out there. And
well, I already told Alfred, like, it's Kansas City's divisions to lose as long as Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid is still there. Like, we're gonna be like what Tom Brady was to the AFC, like to the AFC East. As long as Patrick Mahomes is there, the Chiefs are gonna win the division for a very long time because they have Patrick Mahomes. Like, that's just the bottom line. That's
definitely, but I mean, if you think about it though, bro, like, I mean, they're beatable, dude. I mean, you know what I mean? There was even a couple games, I think, this year that we were hanging with them, and at the end it kind of slipped away. I mean, they're beatable, dude. I think that Tom Brady analogy of that, I think it's completely different. I just don't think that they're on that type of level.
Well, to me,
Super Bowl champions, but I just don't see that one.
I mean, because the only thing is, it's like, and I told Alfred this because he was telling me, it's like, well, the Chiefs' defense is no good. Yeah, and they still won the Super Bowl. Like, that's the point I'm trying to make. It's like, okay, they were 26th overall, but let's say they do get defensive players in the draft, and all of a sudden they're middle of the pack. It was already hard enough to beat them with a bad defense. Now, can you imagine if they had a respectable defense and with that offense? Because 10 of the 11 starters on offense, they are coming back. No, I'm sorry. 9 of the 11 are coming back. And what are you going to do? I mean, what are you going to do? Like, for me, it's Kansas City's to lose, and then whoever, wants to win second between the Raiders and Broncos, just, go win second, go nuts, I guess,
Pretty much, man. Yeah, they're going to be tough, dude. No, there's no way around it.
I mean, go nuts. Now, I know you did see the video I did make the first time, when the Raiders were on the clock on 12, and I explained to everybody CeeDee Lamb was the guy I'm thinking that they're going to choose at 12 because, one, Jerry Jeudy's gone, so that he's gone. To me, CD is probably the guy to go with at 12, correct?
Yeah, I mean, CD's a good wide receiver, man. I mean, he's got it all, dude. Height, speed, good hands, good feet. You know what I mean? Definitely a good pick at 12 if that's the way you'd like to go with it. I think great pick.
I mean, I think so too. I think that's the one I would like to go. But now we have to talk about that 19th pick. I mean, that 19th pick came to the fact of, with Khalil Mack. I mean, we all know the deal. I mean, Chucky came in, and during, Labor Day, when everybody was having a good time and everybody was enjoying their 3-day weekend, everybody got the news that, oh, Khalil Mack just got traded. No big deal. We traded Khalil Mack to Chicago. No big deal. And we got 2 first rounders out of it. So it's like, okay, well, I mean, that sucks.
Like, yeah, I mean, we got so much crap for that that trade, but I mean, God, dude, we're definitely reaping the benefits out of that one for sure.
I mean, because the thing is now, I mean, I find it funny, like that year when Mac, ESPN, everybody they put, well, Mac has more freaking sacks than the whole Raiders defense, ha ha ha. But then what I try to came back with it was like, well, look at that. The pick that you gave us for Mac was Josh Jacobs, and he has more rushing yards than all your running backs combined. So where's that same energy when like what, the tables got turned and all of a sudden you can't say anything nice? Like, I always find it funny, like, do they get fired like on ESPN or the NFL Network if they ever do say anything nice about the Raiders? Like, that's what I always wanted to know,
Well, bro, you know the saying, dude, and real Raider fans know this, and it's the truth, man. It's Raiders against the world, dude, always. For sure.
I mean, for me, I just always find it funny. It's like you can't say one positive thing. Like, there's always, I mean, remember when the NFL Network first started and we were still living in Chino, and God, I hate that guy. I don't hate him. It's just, oh my God, he always got me so upset. Warren Sapp. Oh, he could not hide his true colors. He was the definition of a true Raider hater, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it sucks because, I mean, the Raiders gave him a great contract to come in when he played with us. A lot of people don't know that, but after Tampa, he played with us for, what was it, 2 seasons or 3 seasons?
I think it was 3. I think what it was, 2, and then the third one was kind of the one where he was kind of like slipping off the rocks, and the fourth he just decided to just retire before his contract ever ended, basically.
Definitely. We did him no favors, dude. I think that was the year, one of the seasons that we went 2-14. Probably one of the worst seasons I've ever seen the Raiders have. But yeah, man, definitely a real Raider hater right there for sure.
And then my favorite one, and I wish I was able to go to the game, but my former stupid job didn't let me, was the Mexico game where Randy Moss was like, I am not a Raider. And I just thought that was funny. I'm like, damn, Randy. Well, thanks, I guess.
Yeah, really, really tell your true feelings, bro.
I mean, but hold on one second, brother. We good? Okay, brother. So you know the deal, man. 19th pick. What's gonna happen is you're gonna hear that beautiful sound that you love. I'm gonna reel you in, and then you just do you. All right, man?
I got you, man.
So here we go. Here is my brother's prediction for the 19th pick in the 2020 NFL Draft.
Here we go.
Don't you love that sound? That's a beautiful sound.
I love it, man. I love it. Here we go. With the 19th pick in the 2020 NFL Draft, the Las Vegas Raiders select Kenneth Murray, linebacker, Oklahoma Boomer Sooners.
Yeah, so shocking there. I have the exact same thing. And for the people at home that, can you confirm, bro, that I did not even call you who I told you I was going to pick?
Nah, of course not, man. No, we anybody that really knows us, like really close to us, knows that we take this draft thing serious. And I don't know. Have you ever told anybody about the bets and the stuff that we do? I mean, that could be for another day. But
what I was thinking is, I was thinking that Thursday when I do go to your house and everything, I say we actually go on YouTube Live and we just do a Raider mock draft, all the rounds and everything. Like
yeah, for sure, man. But yeah, no. Yeah, you would never call me or talk. I mean, we keep these picks so close to us. It's like, giving out the cards for poker. I mean, you just don't show your hand at all. But if I could get a second to talk about Kenneth, Oklahoma Boomer Sooner, 6'2", 243 pounds, inside and outside linebacker. Wow, man, kid's got it all. Speed, tough, physical. Moves really well on the inside, outside. Great motor. Man, dude, just what a beast, dude.
Yeah, I mean, I have a couple notes for him here. He participated in the combine. He had a 4.540, which is, you know, the thing about it is, when you want a linebacker, you want 4.55 or under just to kind of, be like, okay, check on that. 21 bench reps. The number is usually 20, but the way how these athletes are going, I'm sure pretty soon it's going to be like 22, 23. But 21, boom, he's got the strength. That's not an issue there. 38-inch vertical, that says it all, dude. With his height, 38 inches, that's another check. And 11 feet broad jump. I mean, you said it yourself, dude. He is sideline to sideline, and he explodes the second the ball comes out. It doesn't matter the assignment. He gets where he needs to be, and that's the one thing I did notice about Kenneth Murray at Oklahoma.
Oh yeah, man. There's a lot to talk about the kid. I mean, physically, we can go on and on, dude. He's got it all as far as the physical traits. Also, he's a smart kid, dude.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if you knew this, but I want to say I read somewhere that his military background. I think police officer is his father.
Yeah, his dad. I think his dad was an officer, and I think his mom served in I think it was the Navy. I think something like that. But
Yeah.
And then the crazy thing is, a lot of people don't know is that his major is actually for communications. So that's like a big plus. Like, oh, the linebacker has to communicate to everybody anyway. So for your major to be communications, it's like sold, man. Sold.
Yeah, here's another one. Here's another one that probably a lot of people don't know is he's got 3 younger siblings that were adopted.
Yeah.
And helped raise them. You know what I mean?
So, oh yeah.
Definitely a good guy on and off the field, man.
Yeah, I think talking to hearing reports about him off the field, I think he was the only one that didn't go to like a frat party or anything after the game. I think he was the one that's like, okay, I'm gonna go to bed, acting like a 40-year-old in a 20-year-old body. It's like, oh, okay, grandpa, but and that's the thing. I know people find that like funny, but I mean, the truth is, it's like these kids have to realize, you got to be careful what you do, because it could come back to bite you, 4 years down the road. I mean, the perfect example was the Laramie Tunsil. I mean, he was supposed to be a top 5 pick. He didn't get picked up until like pick 20, almost. Yeah, that guy. Yeah, the one with the gas mask and everything, man. That's the thing. I mean, that'd be my only advice now that I'm about to head into my 30s and everything, is just be careful what you do, man. So, careful what you do, because social media is everywhere now, and you got to be careful what you say. You got to be careful what you're doing, because somebody's always recording, and that's a sad thing to me, at least.
Yeah, man. These kids that are in sports nowadays, I mean, they're constantly in their ears now, telling them about the same stuff you're talking about. I mean, the NFL, dude, the first thing that these rookies do, I want to say is it called the Rookie Symposium?
Yeah, Rookie Symposium. Oh, dude, that's a big program for them.
Exactly. You know what I mean? And dude, they're constantly in their ear, just like, hey, man, you guys are going to see a lot of money. You guys have to be smart with that, invest. Don't be going crazy out there, doing all kinds of bad stuff. And that's a good thing for these kids, man.
I mean, I agree too. I mean, it's just, like I said, we just live in a world now, dude, that somebody is always recording. I mean, even myself, I'm recording myself right now doing this video. It's like something's always being recorded, because that's just the way the world is, It wasn't like that in the 80s, and it wasn't like that in the 90s, When we were growing up, it was cassettes, CDs, Super Nintendos, all that stuff. You know what I mean?
All those goodies.
All those goodies, oldies but goodies. But now it's like Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, this new craze, TikTok, YouTube. It's just, to me, sometimes it could be a little too much, dude. I think, there's times where it's just, we got to just remember like how it was back then, enjoy ourselves and everything,
For sure.
But for me, I think at 19th, to get Kenneth Murray at 19th, that'd be a steal for the Raiders because I know we signed 2 linebackers, but the problem is it's depth at this point because Markel Lee's coming back. You add Kenneth Murray. You could probably bring Will Compton back on a cheap end deal when this is all over, which I'm kind of hoping Will does come back, but we'll see what happens there. But I mean, it's all about depth at this point. Even though we signed 2 linebackers, we're still an injury away from like, oh crap, we need another linebacker. So I think bringing him in kind of helps him, with starter and depth at the same time.
Oh, for sure, dude. Definitely a steal at 19. And man, dude, I really look at it like if somehow, some way they get word he's not going to be there at 19, bro, I would go as far as to say is, you know what, just go ahead and take him at 12 and just get it out of the way, man. That's how strong I feel about this kid. I really think he's going to be someone special, man.
I mean, for me, the only time I remember drafting a linebacker in the first round and it backfired in the face was the Rolando McClain pick. And that's another story that we could probably say for another day where the name was picked and I threw my draft board away immediately. I said, this is – and –
so good. Yeah, bummer, man.
And you were actually okay with it. And, you saw me saying you asked was strong. And I remember vividly I said, like, under my breath, we drafted a bust. And I was upset. And you're like, nah, man, it's going to be fine. And then 3 years later, he was out of the team. It's like, I knew we drafted a bust, man.
Yeah, that was a tough one, man, because, I mean, like you said, we could save that for another day, but I will leave it at this. Rolando had everything to be a great linebacker. He just, it was between the ears that he had the problem, you know that.
Yeah, I mean, that's what happens, man. The gangster from Decatur, Alabama. That first press conference said it all, man.
That's it, man. That's how it goes.
All right. Well, bro, I want to thank you again for enjoying, spending time with us. I know you got family and everything, so I know it's not easy for you to get away from the 3 kiddos that you got that are probably destroying your life right now. But, I appreciate the time you taken talking to me and, draft's coming up soon, dude. So, I mean, it's crunch time now, dude. I mean, we're in April. That's it. I mean, draft's in like 2 weeks. So it's crunch time, dude.
Definitely, man. Definitely. I'll be ready. And yeah, man, you guys have a great night. And again, thank you for having me on. And thank you for the great, incredible show you've been doing. Like I said, it's really, I know it's helping me like get my mind off of the crazy stuff that's going on in the world right now, man. So again, thank you.
Hey, no problem, man. Now get out of here. Go. It's almost your bedtime, and it was already past your bedtime like an hour ago. Get out of here. Go back to sleep, man.
All right, guys. Thank you again. Bye-bye.
All right, take care, brother. That was my brother Julian. He's a good big bro, man. He's probably one of the best thing that's ever happened to me. What it is he's actually my stepbrother, but not to like cause anything. I always call him my big bro, but he's the best thing that's ever happened to me, man. And I can't ask for a better brother than him. But I want to thank you guys for enjoying this video today. Hopefully that was a lot of fun. Do we have any questions on the thing? Well, we can read a couple questions on Facebook Live. What's going on over there? What do we got?
Oh, this one was for your brother,
Okay.
But maybe you can answer it.
Maybe. Let's see.
Alfred Perez, did he see them win the Super Bowl?
No, because he was actually born the year they won the Super Bowl. Let's see. He was born in October of '83, and they won it actually that January. So he was like a little bit of a year off. We've seen them play in a Super Bowl, but we don't really talk about that because Tampa Bay kind of killed us. Screw you, Chucky. I love you, man, but that Tampa Bay game was bullcrap.
Jonathan was just saying we got robbed a few games.
No, okay. Here's the thing on this: like, the referees are gonna referee. Like, look, since I was 5 to now, always expect Raider games to have at least 7+ penalties. That's just the way it's always been. Like, we can take every player that was the least flagged in every position, and I guarantee you we will still get 7+. Why? because that's just the way it's been. And it's you should know this by now, Jonathan. Like it is what it is, dude. We're gonna get flagged. Oh well, we keep playing. I mean, nothing else to it. Looking at you, NFL officials, you jerks. We want Ed Hockey League back. And anyway,
Alfred Perez again.
uh-oh.
It's the new NFL and it's about the money. Now that love, that loyalty is out the window.
You know what? I understand, like, yeah, like it's a business, obviously, but I'm sure there in some cases there's times where, you know, there is a player that does want to stay there. It's just it never works out that way. I'm pretty sure I know for a fact Tom Brady probably wanted to stay in New England. However, if he believes that he still has time to play and he can still play and New England's not going to live up to it, then that's it. I mean, see, this is the thing that a lot of people like, and I'm glad he brought this up. Like, there's no loyalty, there's no this and that. There's loyalty. It's just coming from another team. Because see, back then in the 80s and 90s when I was watching, once a team cuts you, that was it. There was no free agency like this. That was it. They would use you up and your career was done. So I mean, there's loyalty, but it's coming from another part of town. And I'm sure in some instances, yeah, there are times, where players do start and finish their careers there. I mean, the recent one is Ray Lewis. That's the earliest I can remember. I mean, Kyle Long, he was drafted by the Bears and he retired a Bear. I mean, due to uncircumstances. Travis Frederick, he had to retire due to injury, but or that disease. But there's cases that they do start and finish. It's just at least now other teams are giving other players a chance as long as it's good enough and money wise it makes sense. Any other questions or what's happening?
This is when you guys were talking about Carr.
Uh-oh, here we go.
Jonathan.
Oh boy.
Who throws the ball away on 4th and short?
Derek Carr. No, I'm kidding. Look, a lot of people want to give him, some heat for that. My thing was the play broke down, the defense smelled it out perfectly, and he had no other choice but to throw the ball away. I mean, yeah, he could have taken a chance, but either way, like I said earlier, nothing's ever going to be right. Like, if he would have thrown that ball and got intercepted, why did Carr throw the ball? If it was incomplete, he should have thrown it better. Carr is in a situation where he has to win the fans over again. And if he can't do that, then it's just over. And, we move on from Carr. Easy as that. Like my brother said, easy as that.
Alfred Perez. I give Carr respect. Mariota is a joke.
I mean, that's the thing. Like, people forget, like, this league, honestly, is now a what have you done for me lately now league. Like, people forget he did take Tennessee to 2 division titles, and he did take them to 2 playoff wins. He did it in the Super Bowls, but I mean, that's a lot better than some of these quarterbacks. Like, I've seen Marcus Mariota win more playoff games than I have Matthew Stafford. I have Derek Carr. It's just what it is, dude. It's a what have you done for me lately now league, and this was before he had Henry. So I say why not? I mean, there's a reason he went number 2. Now, the worst thing that can happen, he goes in, he falls flat. It's all good. It can't get any worse than here at this point. So why say why not?
Do you have a list of the draft picks you have off the board?
I do.
Can you find it anywhere?
I do. If you guys want, I will post it at the end of this video. I also have that video of that 1 through 16 recap that you guys can check out on my channel. I will try to upload it again, but I do have a recap video of 1 through 16 that you guys can check out. But I can always make a list for you guys as well on the Facebook Live or on YouTube Live, and I can make a list on the sports page that we have for Facebook if you guys want.
Okay. Julian Garcia, tell the story of I'm scared.
Okay, so this is one of the many Oakland trips. So this is what happened. It was opening week. We were gonna play the Jaguars. Yes, that's when Maurice Jones-Drew was still playing. Charles Woodson came back. The Raiders lost the opener to Indianapolis. They were at Indianapolis, which I was there, and I was at the end zone where Terrell Pryor threw the interception, and that sucked because they could have won. But anyway, so I fly out from Kentucky to go to, and I land in Oakland, and we're gonna go. I land there. They pick me up from San Francisco because they were already gonna be there. So I said, I'll just land from San Francisco. No big deal. So we get there, we hang out all day. We had a blast. We partied at this, I guess you could call it like a hall. Like it's one of those little like hall things, where you do like quinceañeras and, just whole party events. We partied, drinking, having a good time. So we all pitched in for the room. Now, this is the thing that I was not aware of. More people showed up in the room and they laid down. I'm talking about Raider Los, MJ, and Jeremiah. So they all came in, and it was me, James, our friend Chris, and then my brother Julian. So, oh, and my uncle Anthony. So what happened was 2 beds and 8 dudes. Yeah, have that mentality, huh? Yeah, that's the way to go. So here we go. So what happened was James and my uncle Anthony, they shared a bed. We couldn't go to sleep for the first 2 hours because it was a snoring match. By the way, my uncle Anthony won. He won by knockout. James got up and he decided to go sleep under the sink. Yeah, he decided to go wake up, and as he was walking to the sink, he accidentally kicked a dude that was sleeping on the floor, and he goes, "My bad, bro," and then he lays under the sink. So now we're all good. We're all good. We're sleeping now, so it's all good. So we wake up. We wake up, and our buddy Los, who's he's the coolest dude on earth, and I hope Los, if you're watching this, I really want you to come to Vegas, man. I really do. I want you to come. You, Raider Rob, everybody. I want you guys to come, and let's all celebrate together, man. Like I said, this is more of your guys' stadium than it is ours. Than it is Vegas. This is your guys' stadium. So he decides to come join the room with us. We all fell asleep, and somewhere like at 6 in the morning, he got a leg cramp, and all you just hear him is like, he's like doing that noise you get with the leg cramp. And I don't know what I was dreaming, but I don't know if I was having one of my terrors or if I was having a bad dream, but the only things that came out of my mouth, like his mouth was like, cramp, cramp, cramp. And I don't know what happened. I snapped and I'm just like, I'm scared. I said, my first words were, I'm scared. And my brother, thank God for my brother being the EMT that he is, got out out of everything, out of the covers of the floor, and said, "Don't worry, guys, I got this. We're all still drunk and half asleep." And he decided to take it upon himself to give Raider Los a massage for his cramp on his leg. And that's the story of I'm scared. It was just that. Like I was just waking up from a bad nightmare, a bad terror. And my first words were, I'm scared, like I'm scared. And that's and that's the thing. We have many stories, and we'll talk about them another day. But I mean, we have so many stories from Oakland trips. It's just insane. I think the next one I want to talk about is the first time me and him went to a game together. This was the first home opener we went together, and how he almost got ran over by Darren McFadden. But that would be another time for another day. Yes, Darren McFadden, if you ever watch this, you almost ran over my brother, and I would have bought you anything in the world at that point. Any other ones, or that was it? Yep, we all good? All right, then. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for tuning in today. it was a little bit long, but like I said, my brother and me, this is what we normally do, and I gotta start going because my lady's kind of giving me the eye of hurrying it up. But other than that, tomorrow it is the Jaguars are on the clock again, but different scenario. We're actually going to be talking about the Rams tomorrow. So I don't have any guests tomorrow, so I'm gonna see. I think I had one. She has to confirm with me if she still wants to do it. It's actually, somebody that I was friends with in high school. I don't know if she still wants to do it. We'll see. If not, hopefully somebody comes up. But if not, it'll just be me. And it's just the Rams, and that'll be it. So the Rams tomorrow, and today was the Raiders. So everybody have a wonderful night, and we will see you tomorrow.